So, everyone wants to be successful until it's time to be successful. And I'm just scratching the surface. I'm not where I want to be in life. I'm a lot further than I was. I've come such a long way. I've been a six-figure earner for the past 4 years, and I'm very blessed, very, very, very blessed to be running my own business and to be six figures, especially in these times. Especially in these times, is a blessing, and I thank God for it every single day. However, I have bigger goals than that. I want to be a seven-figure earner, an eight-figure, nine-figure earner. I want to be worth $100 million. When I do decide to have kids, when they turn 18, I want to be able to give them $100,000, $500,000 that they can start their life without, wondering how they're going to pay for this, pay for that. There's just so many goals that I have. I want to be able to travel and return when I feel like it. So spend 4 months in Europe just because I can and not have to worry about money or paying for this, paying for that. I have so many goals, so many goals. And I know for a fact I'll get there. I know it'll happen. I feel it. I know I am capable of reaching these goals. But one thing I can say is I can speak on the experience that I've had so far these past 4 years when it comes to running your own business, being your own boss, making your own schedule, and doing what you want to do. People don't realize, and I didn't realize, this was the biggest lesson I learned, and that is being successful is a very lonely path. It is a very, very, very lonely path. And you don't know it when you start. You think that when you start, all of the friends that you have are going to be so happy for you and they're going to be cheering you on and your family's going to be cheering you on. It's just going to be like this big kumbaya moment. You're going to be able to help other people. They're going to accept your help. They're going to love you. And most of the time, that doesn't happen. That didn't happen in my own life. And I know that doesn't happen in most people's lives because I've watched a lot of videos on this because I was going through that. And it was, like I said, the complete opposite of what I thought it would be. As you grow and, people can self-develop even when they're not entrepreneurs. I don't think self-development is strictly for entrepreneurship. Like, I think we can all become the better version of ourselves, whether you run your own business or not. But one thing I will speak on, because I am an entrepreneur, so honestly, that's all I can talk about in this phase of my life, is that when you are working towards being the best version of yourself every single day, you're going to realize that your friends and family, the people who are closest to you, and people new that come into your life aren't necessarily working towards that. So without even realizing it, you're surpassing people, and not just financially, but mentally, spiritually, maybe physically, maybe emotionally. You are just really focused on doing the best you can do every single day. And believe it or not, and I do believe it, because before I was an entrepreneur, I wasn't doing this. People closest to you, they may not be on that type of time. So, for instance, I wake up every single day trying to figure out, what can I do better today that I didn't do yesterday? How can I be more positive today than I was yesterday, right? I'm always critiquing and trying to improve. When you are doing that, you are leveling up. So let's say you and your friend, you guys meet here, and every day you're just trying to be the best version of yourself, right? So every single day you're getting better and better and better. Whereas your friend, they're just living day to day. They don't have any real goals or real ambitions. They don't know where they see themselves in the next 5 years. They're not trying to get healthy or get into better shape. They're just cool where they're at. And there's nothing wrong with that. But just understand that as you continue to improve your life and they continue to stay the same, over time your vibration increases and there's going to be a clash. You're not going to want to talk about the same things anymore. Your interests change. Your view on life changes. And those friendships that you had, they kind of fizzle out, right? And you get to a point where it's harder and harder and harder to meet people who are like you, people who are just as inspired and just as motivated as you. It becomes more challenging to find people who not only are entrepreneurs, but like their business is their bread and butter, just like it is yours or just like it is mine. There are a lot of people who run businesses, but they don't run their business to the same degree that you run yours. And so it becomes more and more challenging to build relationships and friendships with people, which in turn can cause you to feel lonely. People don't have the same problems as you. And, I used to think too, like money solves all problems. That's not true. Money makes your problems easier or it makes some go away, but that doesn't solve your problems. Okay? And people don't necessarily understand that, and how would they if they've never had a good amount of money? Sometimes you also will meet people on your path who see you doing well and they come into your life because they want something from you. Maybe you have influence, maybe you have connections, maybe you have more knowledge, maybe you have more money. It's something that they see that you have that they can benefit from. So you have to be wary of those type of people too. The connection isn't genuine. It's not because they genuinely want to be your friend. It's because you have something that they want. And over time, it always comes out. If you keep your eyes open, if you're not naive, if you know how to discern, you figure that out. But people never talk about the dark side of entrepreneurship. And I don't consider it dark anymore. I don't consider myself lonely anymore. But I definitely experienced that. I've spent a lot of time by myself. I've made videos talking about how isolated I am from the world right now, how I really am in my own bubble. I really only focus on me, myself, and I. I don't watch the news. I don't go to parties. I don't go to events. I have a few people that are very, very, very close to me, and I mean extremely close, like this, like this. Like I am more about quality over quantity. I have a few tiny amount of people who I would trust with anything, like my life, my money, and that's it. It's not what you think, where you're just gonna have all these friends and everyone's gonna love on you. It's not like that. It is not like that at all. And it sucks because you see it on TV all the time and you're like, wow, that really exists? No, it doesn't really exist. And I went into it blindly. I didn't know that didn't exist. And like I said, I only know because I watched a lot of videos on this, because I would say 2 years ago is when I really started to feel the loneliest. And then I started finding YouTube and finding other creators who talk about the same thing. And, I'm just nowhere near the same person that I used to be. Things don't interest me like they interest other people. I don't really consume too much content, movies, shows. That's not teaching me how to do something to improve myself or my business or my weight loss journey, my fitness journey, something along those lines. You know what I mean? I don't binge watch stuff for hours and hours and hours. I did yesterday for my birthday for the first time in a very long time. But that's not something I normally do. So just off of that, it's harder to build connections with people when that's what they do, right? I can't explain to people how I'm stressed about money, even though my business made X amount. Because to some people and to a lot of people, they would be like, that's a lot of money. What are you talking about? And I would have thought that too. But as you grow and as your business grows, your threshold grows, your expectations grow, right? So it's not a lot of people that you can talk to about a lot of things in your life. Only the closest people you can trust with that stuff. So I say all of this to say that success is lonely. You're not going to get a lot of support from people. And I had to learn too that I was expecting support from people who don't even support themselves. You can't ask people to do what they don't do for themselves. That's very selfish and it makes no sense. So let me give you an example. I used to want people to share my posts or like my posts, comment on my posts and things like that. And, that sounds reasonable, right? But when you break it down and you see that they're not, or, they act like they don't see your stuff, it hurts. And you have to realize that they don't even post and create their own content. So why would you think that they're going to repost and share your content? And then you may argue, yeah, well, they're sharing other people's, they're sharing celebrities that they don't even know, like Nicki Minaj or Drake or whatever. Understand this too. If Nicki Minaj was their friend, like how you're their friend, they wouldn't be sharing Nicki Minaj either. Sometimes people have a hard time being around people who they deem as being better than them, doing better than them. It's hard for people to be around people who are outshining them, especially if you have like a really bright light. If you are just very ambitious, very motivated, very inspired, it shines light on what they're not. A lot of people, unfortunately, and I hate to use this word, are lazy. And it's because they haven't found that thing that gives them that drive to be motivated, right? I think laziness can be cured when you figure out what it is that you really want to do with your life. But most people haven't figured it out, and most people will never figure it out. And so it's hard to be around people who are living in their purpose, who are excited about life, who are very positive. It's very hard to be around people like that. And like I said, your light, my light, sheds brightness on their darkness. And so I had to learn that too. And that's another reason why a lot of the people who used to be in my life are no longer in my life. And that's not necessarily anything that I did, right? And that's nothing you did. It's just what happens on your journey to success. So, understand that. Another thing that I think people don't realize is when you're on a journey to success, for instance, my business is my baby. I birthed it, right? I love it. I nurture it. I care for it, all the things. There's never a day that goes by where I'm not doing something towards my business. I don't have days off. I told you guys this weekend was the first time in a very long time I took a partial day off. And it was not a full day. I still made content. I still responded to comments. I don't have a full day off. I can't not take a full day off. And I have not had a full day off in the 4 years that I've been doing this, almost 5. I've never had a holiday off. I've never had a birthday off. I've never had a weekend off. Still haven't. A lot of people don't realize that. And I don't have 9 to 5 hours. I'm working about 18 hours a day. But how do I do that every single day? It's because I love what I do, and it's mine. It's mine. It's different when it's someone else's, but when it's yours, your love for it is different. You're willing to be up in the middle of the night or to only be running off of 4 and 5 hours of sleep because it's yours. So I say all of this not to scare you, but to make you aware of success. And then I also want you to know, too, one last thing is people think that if your business makes a certain amount, that's what you walk away with. That's not true. There's so many business expenses, people you have to pay, things you have to buy to keep your business going. And I didn't know that either. I thought if I made 10,000, that means I'm keeping 10,000. Not at all. Not even close. So, just understand that. Someone's business may be flourishing, but that doesn't mean that's their takeaway. It doesn't mean that they don't have things they have to pay for outside of their living expenses, but just to keep the business running. So, these are just some things I learned on my journey that I continue to deal with. And I'm not going to say that I never feel lonely. Sure, of course, I would love friends to go hang out with. Right? But this is what I signed up for. And most days are better than not. I have way more days where I enjoy my new life than not. And when I do feel lonely, it's never for the whole day. It's for a moment, maybe an hour or two, but it doesn't last. It goes away because I'm truly doing what it is that I want to do with myself. So I say all this not to scare you, but to make you aware of the road to success. Not everybody can handle it. Not everyone knows what it entails. And I think only the strong survive. Yeah.